It's just, there we go. Hi. Anyway, we will be doing comedy, and I decided to get the snake lady out, and we will be talking about ethics. As a child, my dad and I were really close, and when I turned 12, it was a big deal. We had a really big party. I had it in California with all my family and friends that I held close, and it was done in April. So we flew out there as a family, had the get together, and everyone had a great time. And yeah, and I flew back down there in for summer, but it was nice to see everyone. Hi, thank you for the thumbs up. So I will be doing comedy. And when I was 12, I thought that because I turned 12 before the Ding Dong Brothers, and I was getting up there with my older cousin, Natalie. She was like a real good nerd. Of course, unfortunately, nerds don't pick, sometimes like me, and don't pick the right. But we're not talking about that. We'll be talking about the comedy site, and we will be talking about what I asked my dad. So let me go and get her. And yeah, I'm getting the snake lady because I've been redoing some stuff in my whole place. You can't see it. I have stuff done over in the office area. Everything's put on somewhere else. So let's get the snake lady out, and we're going to be having a fun time because I thought I was the shit. I really did. I thought, being 12, you're like this whole grown up, and it really wasn't. And my dad gave me a very good answer for my age group. So, hello, hello, hello. The snake lady, woo woo, it's Saturday, long weekend. So you all want to know about ethics? I was 12 and thought I was 24. Here I'm thinking dating and stuff. What do you do with date? Let me tell you this, I got my ass kicked dating. You all don't know. I've been fished more than an actual fisherman. So I told my daddy I'm 12 and I'm going, Daddy, I hear a lot of people. I hear the lady, she was happily married, by the way, but she would say I was married too young, but I loved it anyway. I love my husband and my babies, but I didn't know what the hell I was doing. And I said, oh, okay. She did feel she got married young, but she said under the circumstances where they lived, it was understandable, and she said it was fine, and she was taken care of, and she's still married to the guy. She had 4 kids. She goes, and it was something my daddy said. So I said, Daddy, when someone tells somebody else, let's pretend they're telling one person, a guy's telling a lady, I got married too young. And my daddy said, when you have one child, you got married too young, and that's all you have. You got no more children. That means that you just, whoops, uh, no children is a mistake, but you had a child that you weren't foreseeing, and God placed it in your loving arms, and you go and do that, and you're all happy, but you know better, and you take birth control and you watch yourself. That means you're not only a responsible person, and you're going, I really don't want to have no more children with this person for whatever reason. And my daddy said, but once they have other children, they're no longer married too young. It's the stupidity of some people. I go, really? So if they have more children with that same person, is it married too young? My daddy looked at me and said, no, they're just playing stupid with birth control, and they don't know what to say. They're just unhappy and they want to get laid. And I go, you're kidding me. They'll lie to get laid? I was told at the age of 12 that men will lie to get laid. And I'm like, well, oh, wow. I was blown away and flown away and everything. I thought to myself, well, Daddy, men lie. Yeah, they lie. The mothers lie. I've been fished more than an actual fisherman. I've gone on dates where I thought my date ate. It's just amazing. So, if someone tells you they all got married too young and they got 3 children, don't matter if they're male or female, they all lie. If they had one child and that's it, it's more of a believable story. But once you had 2 other children, you just don't know how to use birth control and you want to get laid by somebody or you like what they got to offer in your life. You know what? If you want it, like my daddy said, and this is what happened to Omega, and I'm very embarrassed about it. This was about 3 years ago. I was on a dating app and I seen this guy go, ooh, he looked fine. So I go, ooh, yeah, I'm gonna get, have fun. Yeah. That's why I do 4 weeks now, because in those 4 weeks, the wife usually in the first 2 weeks finds out about you and says, "Hey, have you seen, whatever?" They'll message you, and you go, "No, I give it 4 weeks." They go, "It's a good girl. Forget this number," and that's how I found out recently. It's been real, like about 3 years ago, I started to be real careful after the last woman went crazy, and I said, "Look, I'm not on the your significant other looking for other women so they can get laid." And I said, "He lying to go women saying the same thing. I get married too young." So I said, "So how many kids you got?" "Well, you just don't know how to use birth control, some bitch." That's what I told him too. I said, "You didn't get married too young. You don't want to get laid by somebody else." Ah, Jesus. Yeah, I got a drama. The mama came out. Oh, it was a horrid thing. It was something I all didn't want to experience anymore. So after it was done, I just said, you know what? I'm done playing this game. This game just doesn't, yeah, it's not nice no more. So I finally just said, you all want to play that game of lying and crying. Oh, I got married too young. This guy was sitting there telling me like he was a woman. I all thought, God dang, I don't know what to do. This date just went from laughing to he's crying about having how many babies you got? You could take me home. I told him to take me home. I don't care. You all have. I do not like the married men. They come with crazy wives and have drama. Omega don't do that kind of shit. No drama, no married people. Then you're, like my daddy told me, when you don't have to deal with married men, it's enough that they're crazy enough on their own, and then they go on a dating site while they're already hooked up with somebody, and then they want to have you go, oh, Jesus, crimley, and it just becomes a big pain in the ass. Just do it the way I was taught. If they got more than one child, they all don't have been married too young, okay? Because I don't care. That's what my daddy told me. He said, when they use that on you, and I've used it back on a man, I said, sir, you just don't know how to use birth control. It was with the same woman, 3 kids. It's not a mistake. No child's a mistake. And you got to understand this. If you're going to put your seed in it, in that woman 2 other times, then obviously, and she said, okay, I believe in God's thing. I believe in life. Good. But the whole thing is you didn't get married too young, because you got to say, I am not happy in my marriage. I'm not happy in what he has to offer me, a lot more money and more whatever it is. You really need to be honest and no drama, because every time I didn't do the 4 weeks, God dang, that man was so, oh God, and the weed man, I had to pray to God because he was an asshole. But you all don't know. It's your responsibility as a dating person, But even though you do a background check and it comes out that he's not married and then he has a significant other for 8 years, that's a long-term relationship. It's not going to show up that he's married, and you have to listen to him. And then you got to tell the woman, look, I didn't know. But it's always good to keep it 4 weeks, because usually women can tell if the guy's like talking to somebody and getting excited and stuff, and then they find out about you and you go, you know what, I didn't, we did talk naughty or whatever. Be honest with the woman. I had to tell a woman, I all didn't know she had a married dude. I said, dude, that he didn't even wear his wedding band. He went and got tanned, and it all matched, because I look for the wedding band mark. Yeah, I really look, because those married women get crazy, and you got to be very honest and say, you all don't understand. These women get really violent and upset because it's their man, and you're going, hey, they're telling me that they got married too young. They put their hands on their hips. We have 3 children, the same one. I'm like, uh-oh, they're using what my daddy used. Yeah, if that was getting married too young, he should have thought about the other two. Okay, yeah, and said he didn't even bag his boner, so I guess that means, as we think it does, it. So I'll just want to tell you guys, it's always good to make sure you're dealing with somebody who has not been married too young, because I don't give a rat's ass. If they're married, it's a no-no. That's what my dad has said. So I was 12 and he told me that some people do stupid shit, but if I am smart enough and to make sure I'm dating someone who is not married. I did not know that guy was married, and it just caused me a pain for 3 months. Ugh. But after that, want to hear something? He tried to hook up back with me. He moved over somewhere else. And I said, dude, I had a pain. You just did a world of hurt on me. I said, your girl really did a number. I'm done. Forget my number and lose it. Yeah, I just couldn't deal with his shit. He just done, had all that stuff. And here I am thinking, I'm being good. Yeah, he's being an asshat. So here it is. Be honest as much as you can. Don't mess with married people. My daddy said it's a losing battle. When you go and you mess with the married people, you know what they all do? They go back to that person. They go and they just want something that will give them what they consider their, worth. And you all know that. It is what it is. There we go. We got from 2010. So, anyway, you all think that it's funny and stuff, and it is. But good Lord, if I just sat back and said, dude, I gotta wait and meet you for 4 weeks, let's get to know each other, it would have been a whole different, no drama. 4 weeks, man. Woo! I couldn't believe it. Here I am. I'm going, well, I got it good. Oh, God. So, I have learned, and I have told men, hey, I don't want that kind of drama. You're just a drama mama. Oh, they're called lazy lipstick. It is lazy lipstick. So, now as for me, it's been a lot easier when I sit back and I go, okay, I'm going to talk to this person for 4 weeks. I'm going to sit and find out if this person's a nutbag or they're worth my time. And that's, how you date. You got to find out. Today I was busy out running around, getting stuff done. And, I was proud of myself. I had to get cleaning utensils, cleaning stuff. But in the most case that I have in dealing with dating, I would say the dating part is easy. It's getting to know that person. And if you have children, you got to think about them. How are they going to like that person? Are they going to get along with them? Are they going to think they're butt licks? And when kids tell you, like when um, my dad's wife at the time, um, gave away some of my personal clothing to her daughter, and my grandmother found out because she bought the outfit, which her daughter was wearing, and my grandmother walked her into the bathroom. To this day, I thought it was hilarious and said, "Take it off, or I'm going to take it off." And I'm like, whoa, you got to see. My grandma was not a tall woman. And she really said, I spent X amount of money on that outfit. You're blankety not going to fucking wear it. Get the fucking shit off. And I'm like, the longer you hold on to that outfit, the more my grandmother will swear. So if somebody wasn't getting something off right away, you knew she was getting into the sailor attitude. And yeah, so she ended up taking it off. My grandma washed it because she said it smells bad, because I didn't smoke and stuff. So my grandmother pretty well told her daughter that if she wanted to bully me, that it was not acceptable. And that's the reason why I liked going to California. I had my family there and I was not bullied, but I seen a lot of other people bullied, and I was able to step up for them. And that's the one important thing that I always thought was good. When my friends were called uh, bad names, I would stand up for them and call them back to them. Oh, yeah. I've called people that were white the N word because they called my friends the N word, and I didn't like that. And I said, no, you're a white N word or whatever. And standing up for people has been like, hey, I got plenty of family, is what I said. Because I did, Polacks just love, you know, Kowalski's love family. So here it is. I would stand up for my friends and be the big thing in California. And then I'd come over to Michigan, and boy, yeah, no, it's just me, myself, and I. But no, actually, I also had my dad, who's a lawyer, and it wasn't me. It was my stupid teachers. No, my dad's in a meeting. No, you can't call him. And it was because I didn't agree with all my teachers. Mrs. Henson hated me. Oh, yeah. So, as for me, when I was a kid, I found out that you had to spend time and talking with people to find out if they're really putting out the truth, or not just like saying, yeah, I got married. I'm going to be honest with you. If senior psychopaths would have just not just held on to his scruples and wouldn't play patty cake with everybody, he would have still had me. I was happy. I had my two kids, and I love my kids, and I do everything for them. But it is what it is. I can't share people that much, It's just not in my way I am. So after a while, I couldn't take it no more. So here I am. I'm happy, and I got the snake lady. And yeah, that's pretty well what I was told by both my dad and grandfather, because they've heard the same thing. They said, you know what? We've heard the same thing where women say that they married too young. They said, in other words, it wasn't enough money. That's what my grandpa used to say. My uncle, my family used to hang out with the Dodge brothers. And I had an uncle who quit drinking the day the Dodge Brothers went to where their drinking hole was, and they died, and he was late. That's the only reason why he's still living, or was still living. So yeah. As for myself, I am going to be working on, I'm thinking of a comedy where it's, I gotta be honest with you. I just got done watching a bunch of Mel Brooks um, movies and stuff. Mel Brooks was an amazing director, and I'm still sure he's an amazing director. And it's amazing to see, you know how Spaceballs was really made? Let me tell you this. Spaceballs was made on a very tight budget. So Mel Brooks figured out this. He would go to some of these places like the thing where they're showing them combing. Well, what they did was they didn't get a permit. And it's it's not suggested, but it is stating what he did was get people who did what they call quick filming. They didn't have permits. They went and quick filmed them combing the whole thing, went and back in before anyone said anything and got in trouble, and went to their next filming thing, which was most of them that wasn't indoors and stuff, that was outdoors. They did it like really super early in the morning when no one knew what they were doing, and by the time they found out, they were already gone and they left no evidence. So what were they going to do? Well, they were here. So Mel Brooks, oh man, he's fucking awesome. I would love to meet that man. Just all the shenanigans that happened back then. I bet you they were telling stories about everything, the back end of the thing, and he was talking about how sometimes all the problems that would happen. My favorite thing is dealing with, they had History of the World, and then they had my other favorite, which is Spaceballs. I love Spaceballs. You can't go wrong. You have a bad day, put on Spaceballs. I'll guarantee it. That part where my favorite part is the headphones. She takes off these headphones. She does not have the buns, but you first think that there's buns on there. That's fucking cool. I always wanted a pair of those. So yeah, I really think that Mel Brooks, oh, he is amazing, and I will always cherish that. And I have that kind of like humor with that. Yeah. It's like when you work with idiots and they get congratulated. You know what I mean? It's just like they have a really, I almost felt like getting, they have a Spaceball cup that says I work with idiots and stuff. And I almost, it's like, well, should I get that one or that one? When you're trying to do for other people and stuff. But you could get Spaceball stuff all on Amazon, man. Just put Spaceballs on Amazon. You will find a shitload of stuff. I was like, damn, woohoo, look at that. I got Spaceballs. So yeah, I love his idea in Spaceballs with most, he's saying which scenes, and he said the one in the sand scene that had, they pull up to this park thing and they pull out, they do what they're supposed to be doing, and stuff. And he said people were like, look at what's going on. They're filming and then they pile in and leave. And I bet you people were going, God damn, what was that? Mel Brooks? Huh? What's that? Oh my God. That would have been so cool to just see that. But I really did, as growing up, we grew up in a time before the internet. You know what it's like between getting, like with the AI, is so fucking fun when it gives you more as a producer to put out different, production, different styles. It gives you freedom. So that's what I'm hoping for. And I will have extra stuff like my stuff I was talking about. When I get monetized, we're going to be doing some extra stuff that if you want to pay extra money for, we will be working on these, all these, and I will be working with you on them. What I want to do is contact the foundation and find out, or more or less, because a lot of people who have been wording that we're only using this for, you know, schooling or learning, it's not been working. So I'm going to see what I can do, but it's on remote viewing session, and that's what I'm dealing with on extra parts. So if you want to join in later on, you know, it's amazing when I think it's, I think that the reason why I don't wear my wig as much is because it gets hot in here. You know, I got, you know, so when you're, you know, you ever go shopping? Yeah, I all talked about, I said, hey, you know, they look like they're getting rid of the self-scanning. And they laugh and they said, well, if you ever see someone like you did before, because I was telling them I seen and during Christmas a woman that scan two items, let one go. Scan two items, let one go. We all know what happened by a woman who was she was on, Ray Williams talked about her, and she went and talked about how you could do a good shopping spree and you can go to Target. So she put a thing that she scanned all these things and paid for them, and you know, and they realized that it showed her scanning, but it wasn't picking up the item. And then they realized, holy shit, she stole a bunch of items. They say they pay people to watch people scan. So they say that Walmart does it, and when they see someone miss a scan, they don't go and get them that day or even that week. Sometimes it's 6 months later, you're getting arrested for stealing whatever, you know, from, you know, from Walmart or Target. And I said, you know, what happens if I see that again? And they said to inform them. But by the time I was done scanning, they were all gone, you know? And I was like, damn. Yeah, a woman ahead of me decided to scan, like she would scan two items and one would go, two items. Oh, she knew. She had them lined up how she was going to scan. That's what I thought was weird. She had these lines in her car of stuff, and I thought that was odd, as like how she was going to scan. That was real odd. All right. Anyway, I'll put on my wig, and we will be talking about neighbors moving and how nice and quiet it's been. Yeah. So here we go. That's from a picture from the movie in 2010. That was a pretty good movie. My dad liked it. My dad made me watch 2001 when it came out, and I didn't like it when it first came out. I was a kid. That's what happens when mom and dad get in a fight, and my dad says, you're not going to the premiere, and I end up going. Yay! Yeah. Okay. All right. Well, you all want to know how it was like when I grew up. My daddy was strict. When you messed up, you got to paint everything. Boy, he had a pole barn. Boy, I told my daddy where to go. And he said, this weekend you're going to be painting that pole barn out there. And I go, oh, shit. I did, man. So I painted it. Now, mind you, it's 90 degrees out there. That means, in other words, you can melt on the pavement. I painted it. And then I told him, well, shoot, I got enough time to take a shower. We go to the mall and I get my shoes. Oh, yeah, I got my shoes. I may have been a big mouth and I knew where I put it, but my daddy said, okay, you got your licking, let's go, and we'll go to the mall. Yeah, but my daddy didn't kiss my ass. In fact, my daddy said, I'm going to treat you harder than normal. You know why? I'm not going to have you as a princess. I go, oh, shit. Couldn't you just spoon feed me and kiss me and love me? He said, you won't. I'm not going to be here all your life. I'm not going to be kissing and sucking your farts. I'm not no fart sucking father. Oh, shit. He's on that kick. All right, daddy. My daddy gave me every hard job that he could possibly give me. Besides clean out the gutters, that was his because we had a big house. So he all said, you're going to learn the hard knocks of life now. Oh, fuck. At the age of 12, I was learned and I was taught by my family. When you work for family members, you don't get the easy way out. You don't get nothing easy, and they don't spoon feed you. You know what they kept telling me? Suck it up, buttercup, because you gotta take it. You're not going to be a princess. We're not going to have you. What was it they said? You're not going to be a worthless princess. Oh, shit. So my grandma said you got to have respect. You got to have this. But they have to teach you. You got to understand this. If they all don't give you respect, you got to look at them as this boy and they want respect. Okay. You got to hold that down, and go, all right. That's where you bite your tongue, but you don't really bite it. You just don't say nothing. Yeah. Oh, boy. My daddy said, I think that you can learn how to. I'm 16, Daddy. I'm almost 17. What are you waiting for me to get a car? 1969 Fury, my first vehicle. Boy, that was fun. I was driving a big fat fucking boat. I could fit 16 people in the front and back seat and another 10 in the trunk. Boy, we used to go over to that, the passion pit, the drive-in. I paid for everybody inside the car except the trunk. Yeah, the trunk was a little bit more of a thing. I would say that they had to, they got the freebie end of the deal. So we used to go over to the passion pit, the drive-in, and we always used my Fury. Yippers. So here it is. I I I I got in my first accident with that Fury, and I had to hear it from my daddy. I did not know what to do. And that's when everything went south for my daddy and me and getting along. And it was my fault. I should have said, Daddy, you're right. That's a sign. It's a sign that senior psychopath really, I should just let it go and I should have done that then. But I was stupid, young, and dumb. Yeah, sometimes being young gives you dumb. I believed a lot of things, just like all those other women that came to the door and telling me that they were having fun with my ex. Yeah, those were the days he knew that they were coming there. And I knew what all he had to do was say, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to do that, but it happened and we can leave on good terms. No. It's like praying and hoping to God that he turns in and gets a higher vibration, but I'd just be happy once I take care of my financial aspect of my life and make sure it's all set. You know what I mean? Just working hard and keeping up the good vibes. But it's hard sometimes. Some people just live in the past and you're going, holy hell in a handbasket. Dude, that was 2 years ago. You all go, oh, Jesus Christ. People just got to let go. Ooh, gives you a headache. So let's all do a little bit of smoking, woking, and let's talk about the whole thing about I loved being the age of 12 because then you weren't quite an adult, but they would still talk to you in a more adult fashion. So I knew that how to keep away from being assholes, but my daddy just never warned me about the one I dealt with. But he kept warning me later on. He said, "Oh no, you're dealing with a player." And they was. Oh Lord. So as for me, I don't deal with no man married or in a long-term relationship. They will be my forever brother. That's just the way I play. Because it's called no drama. And drama is not nice. And I am so happy I now have my fake thing going on in the back here, so you guys don't see my cat playing with his blanket anymore, because he was taking a lot out from me, you know. Here it is, my cat's just humping everything, and all my people here are seeing that, and I'm going, holy hell. So here it is. I'm thinking to myself, wow, you know, America should be great. Their food should be wonderful. We should have had top-notch shit, right? You know, it doesn't matter if you buy a $2 loaf of bread or a $5 loaf of bread. Well, let me tell you the difference in the loaves. You see, if you buy that $2 loaf of bread of the name brand bread, whatever brand, that a home name brand, you know what they put in it? A little more spring in your step. They figure since the ingredients that make those what was it, those foam pads, you know, for yoga pads. You know how they're like, you know, nice and springy? They put that in your bread. $2 bread, put that right in, mix it in, and that shit don't get bad. Yep, don't get bad. You can keep it 2 weeks, a month, as long as it's closed up, it stays all nice. Thinks what it does. When it goes into your body and starts to break down, it takes a long time for it to break down. Yep. And after a while, you will have, if you keep eating that bread, what it does. And the FDA's been so sleepy. Them and Sleepy, the other president, who, by the way, the other president, the ex-president, you know, the one that did all, well, he still thinks he's president. He's in his basement. They have a whole thing. It looks like he's in Washington in the Oval Office. He's in the basement going, "Whoa, I'm still president." The FDA all been sleeping. They put all kinds of crap in our stuff. So be careful. Read your Ask your chat GBT, take a picture and say, does this have anything that goes in footwear or yoga mats? Just ask that, or just say, hey, I don't want to have anything that goes in yoga mats. I want to have a good natural bread. Is this bread fine? Ask your chat GBT. I'll guarantee you, if you just go and do that to a bunch of shit, because I figure I might as well get my money's worth of my chat GBT. I have him working like you can't believe. He's like, Igor gets a lot of work out. He really does. Yeah. And that is Bobby. That's right. He's right here just saying hello and looking all happy. That's right. I tell you, you know, we're the FDA. They put out the same food that you can wear. That's right. We should all just get those special. Here it is. We're going to get that special stuff that we can, not only can we eat it, we can wear it. Isn't that lovely? Yeah, FDA been sleeping for a long time and making people sick. And think about that. They have all these things that they recalled, like in the past 10, 15 years. It's like every year is a different thing the FDA has to recall because their ass is a dumb ass to sleep. Oh, geez, it might kill a little more than 10 people. Oh, shit, we better put a recall. Uh, it's killing a little more people. Most of those things that they use for the doctor, if it causes any problems with any of your organs, it's not meant to be a long-term use. Most of the stuff is meant to alleviate the pain so it can heal, and then you have to be weaned off it. Just think about that. You know, you need to be asking your doctors, when you quit having to take it, do you have to be weaned off? Because long-term use for some of these medications not only cause liver, where your liver gets well, where it's for shit liver and where you have other body functions that don't work right. You got to be real careful. Some of these doctors are just playing Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde as the same person, but they are also, let's just be honest, they got bills to pay, but you also have to be honest. This is your health, and you got to say, hey, doctor, how long do you might expected to take this? The statins are the worst thing. I don't know how many people have had strokes, heart attacks, all kinds of shit. You should not take a statin no longer than a month, and be very careful. Just people are stupid. Yesterday I smoked a whole big ass joint, a whole big one, and then I said to my sonny boy, I'm gonna order some stuff. Oh, that's what I forgot to do. I gotta pay my sonny boy for his drive there. It was like, So here it is. I was so bummed. It's like you're all laughing and you're going, look, it's been how long? 2 years. You're all acting like it was yesterday and over here. It wasn't even near work. I just stated who all was with me, and then you guys put a name on stuff and just, oh, Jesus Christ. Some people need to stay and just realize after 2 years, it's nothing going to happen. I don't give a flying fuckaroony. I moved on, but other people, they haven't moved on. They figure it's a good, goal in them to help themselves out. Hey, you want to go and play snitcheroony and tell people shit that's about 2 years old? Go for it. Woo! There you go. Go make someone's life hell after 2 years or something that just doesn't mean jack or shit to me anymore. I all don't give a flying fuck. I really don't. I looked at them and I said, I took the the loss long time ago and said, you know what? Next time I will have proof, and next time it won't happen if I can fucking deal with it. Cause I dealt with it for 2 years and worked along with the same, with everybody. So that person, if they're so upset, then maybe they should go and take therapy and realize that what they did wasn't nice. Just, I forgave them a long time ago, but I just thought, Jesus Lord, they really need to move on mentally, and they need to quit acting like they're two. This is just too much. But, it is what it is. I was like thinking to myself, geez, who said this? Man, that's some old shit. That was maybe before that person left and had a child. I maybe mentioned the fact being careful with everybody, being careful with their own property and making sure things don't missing on it. You know what I mean? Because you don't know. I'm plugging her in. Oh, it don't matter. That's weird. Well, anyway, and you all know how that is. I just thought, okay, somebody just put some old info. Maybe they've been talking to somebody else and they figured, well, it's a good thing to put out whatever they want to put out. It may be about a year and a half ago would have been more meaningful. I didn't give a flying fuck anymore. Really, I just stood there going, what the fuck am I wasting this fucking time? This is bullshit. Y'all, I really thought it was BS. It's like, So who told you this? They feel if they're getting late or they miss work, they got to give you a piece of old information that's almost fucking 2 years old? Woo wee! I could give a flying fuck. I love working with that person. In fact, they gave me some earrings and stuff to go with my outfit. They were nice. I was like, fuck, this is great. I don't give a flying fuck about them anything. I like my job. I don't give a fuck. But apparently, some people just feel that old information should be given out like lollipops. And I just thought, what the flying fuck are you doing? Don't give a fuck no more. I don't give a fuck about anything. When go home, I think about good things to do for people and a good life to have. But I moved on way long time ago. I know how to feel about whatever. I don't give a flying fuck. But yesterday it proved to me somebody still lives in the past, and I was like just sitting there thinking, the only thing I can think of was, God damn, that was 2 years ago. Where the fuck, who told you this old malarkey shit? I'm sitting there thinking, well, yeah, I don't give a fuck who did what and who did what. I don't give a fuck, and I really moved on 2 years ago. I forgave everybody, and I said, mwah, let's move on. But apparently, somebody else who hasn't been maybe around or realizing that I don't give a fuck. I love working with everybody because they're nice. I don't care. My stupidity, I lose out. Big deal. It was my stupidity. And I took it as a loss. And that's the way I felt about it. You want to play stupid? Then you lose. And that's how I felt. And then somebody used old information, and they must be talking to Sarah. Hey, I don't feel too happy about Omega. I feel a little lower vibration, so maybe I should go and talk to somebody and make their life a little living shit. So that's what happened. Old fucking information. I really don't give a flying fuckaroony because it does piss me off when somebody gives out old information. I don't care to be that kind of person to look at something that happened that could have been anybody, anywhere, and I don't care to argue about it no more. It is just crazy. Leave your old information, at least get updated ones. How I love to go and work with that person, how I love hanging out. They are great conversationalists. In fact, they should become not just employee of the month. Why don't we have, an employee that has like other stuff that she can be attributed? I don't care. She's a good person. Let's move on. Shit happens. I don't care. But yesterday it was brought up to me, and it's been over 2 years, and I'm done. I was done a long time ago and moved on. But apparently somebody brought it up again. Yep. You can't move on sometimes, I swear. My fault. My problem. I dealt with it, but apparently you all just can't keep your shit out and go, Omega, you did a good job. I hear that from some people, and I know those people are in my court. But when I hear somebody talk smack behind my back about not coming up to me saying, hey, I don't feel it's right the way you're talking about this person, because I finally had to say that. I had to go just I heard somebody was saying something about a friend of mine, and I go, I really like that person, and I like that person too, because they do this and this and that. And I was just upset because somebody was saying very mean things about my friends. And then here it is, I go and I'm thinking, well, I'm trying to be the good vibe, but apparently it was like the somebody just goes and got jealous or something, because I really like working with my friends, well, with my coworkers. And I know that it just puts it's like putting a wedge in between people. And it's like going, oh, goody, I made Omega's life a living hell. Oh, she's going to feel like shit. Because I did. I didn't care to have that out. Because I said, I don't know who did anything. But apparently they all wanted to put a name on it, and I didn't want to argue because it was fucking 2 years ago. 2. And I was like done and moved on and forgave and realized, it all was my fault. And I just knew, and I told people that it was my fault. I could live on that. But I just can't live on someone bringing it up every time they fart wrong and want to tell a manager some good good thing. Oh, let me bring you some information. Because, honey, it's not just information. You're bringing them all crap that I don't feel that way. That's what therapists are for. You go and talk to them and you say, I feel this way. And they go, we got an exercise for you. You do the exercise. You talk to him about your feelings. And then you go and you move fucking on. So anyway, afterwards, I got really high. I said, I just can't deal with this. I am so sad. I just feel like poop, 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 poop. I don't know, my friend somebody must be getting information from somebody else. Hey, let's give out some old information because as far as I'm concerned, I don't give, if I take anything to work and it disappears, I got to just buy a new one because I got to understand that stuff happens. That's just how I feel. It is what it is. I just come to that and if I'm stupid enough to do, to not think ahead or whatever, then I'm stupid enough. I played the game. I considered, okay, I got a little burnt. I just go back. And that's where I come from. It was 2 years ago. I'm done. I don't give a rat's ass. I move on. I like working with that person. That person's so funny and got great sense of music and just a good person. And I don't want no one to go around and starting some rift. And that's what happened. And I felt that way. I just felt that way. And that's just, all the way around. Gotta watch out. You just gotta watch out. That's it. Anyway, besides that fact, I just want to say that I am very proud of myself being home. I've been going through a lot of stuff. I got a lot of art stuff, and I can't wait to work in my studio. The Omega studio going to come around, and that's what I'm going to have. So coming up, we'll be dealing with Omega Studio. We will be talking about your health, your wellness, and playing video games and how to make a better bank account. And you can be the super god or goddess of yourself. Because that's how I want. I want everyone to have their own personal goddess. Because everybody is a goddess. Because that's how I feel. We're all sparks. I can't be mad at a spark. They're divine beauty and radiant. That would be, I just thought to myself, God bless somebody just starting a fire under somebody's ass because they're just not happy. So Omega must have pissed off somebody. I don't know why. I didn't know who I pissed off that month. But somebody must have just thought, well, wouldn't it be nice to give them, I got news for you. Within a year, if I'm still talking to you, that means I think well of you. If I don't mind talking, that's how I am. I forgive. I move on a long time. I just figure it is what it is and I move on. But apparently, I found out that it isn't is what it is, and some people still are stuck in like before, you know, they got in on my news of who I am. I don't hate people, I don't avoid people, and I don't try to be mean, and I don't want people spreading stuff that I'm saying shit because it's been all 2 years and I got my shit all trying to straighten up for my credit and stuff, and I'm working hard, and that's all I'm doing. I really don't envy anybody. I don't. I know what the work that people do, and I get it. I really do. And I enjoy the work. There's nothing like chicken inspecting. But you all just know this. It's always good to forgive and forget and move on. And if some people can't pray harder for them, maybe they need to have some realization that maybe they need to pray and forgive, forget, whatever. It don't matter. It really don't. To me, it just is what it is, and things go on. I still got my animal food. I got some of it so they can, the chickens. I had a bag that was it had a cut in it, and they taped it up, and I got it a little bit cheaper, and I got some cat food, so I was good. So I was able to feed both my babies, and I was good. you know. A lady that was behind, she seen I was having a problem, paid for my gloves, and she helped. I was thankful, and I really, that's where you say, oh, thank you. You know, Jesus was right with me, helping me. Well, we all have our inner Jesus. But, you just feel that love, and I was like, yay, I got help. All right. I was able to get my gloves. So anyway, we are going to be tomorrow is going to be at 7 again, and we will be doing comedy. It will be on God, and it will be on meditation. We'll be talking about God, meditation, and it's okay to talk to God. It doesn't mean you're crazy unless you start answering yourself back. Then I think maybe you just need some sleep, or, quit smoking the crack or whatever. And that's how it is. You just, some people get a little bit too happy. I do miss our old neighbors, though they moved. That's right. The crackheads moved. Oh, and I just don't get the same thing on my Ring app. It is so funny. I got to see, when crackheads have a mating call, they kind of do the thing, and then the guy, he kind of flaps up and down and acts all weird. We used to get all kind. We used to put it to music, and my son and I would be watching the video and go, look, it's the mating season of the crackhead. And we would love watching the crackheads next door doing their little mating thing and laughing. You don't want to see them naked. It's not pretty. It's all bones and stuff. It's like watching the Crypt Keeper do it. It's like, ooh, Crypt Keeper's having sex next door. Ooh. So you all know what I'm talking about. So it was fun that they had to move, because you see, Trump's not paying for their stuff no more. Because you see, they're not getting jobs. And as you know, they're just smoking crack and getting all. But the dancing is so cool. It makes you think of the old disco days, except if they had more jerking motion. Well, that's just what you see, it's crackhead dancing. Woo, woo, woo. And then you all laugh, and then, yeah, we don't got the crackhead dancing no more. They had to move because Trump's not paying their rent no more. So they had to move back with their mom and dads. the one guy picked up his son and he said, "Holy hell, is that my boy?" And I'm like, "Oh, hell it is. He's been doing the crack dance for the past month and a half." Okay, I should have kept my mouth shut, but I didn't. It's just funny as hell. I told him he's one of our funniest ones. Boy, oh boy, it's funny. Hey, it is what it is. If you're on crack and you got neighbors starting to put video all around their house because they think you guys are dangerous and crazy, you all get what you get on YouTube and my channel. Woo-hoo. No, I didn't want to put it on my channel. They'd probably find it and they'd get all pissed off, but I wouldn't have. So, I will see you later tomorrow at 7. Take care. And I will be back. Tomorrow we'll be talking about talking to God, praying to God in a comedy form, and what my family's been doing in a comedy form, and what I was taught. So you guys take care and see you tomorrow.